Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the specific settings that I use on the volume profile session indicator on TradingView if I am going to be day trading a market, meaning I'm going to be using a lower time frame to look for intraday trades that I'm going to have just open and close before the end of the trading day. So even though we're going to be talking about session profile and lower time frames, I do always obviously use a top-down analysis, and I'm going to take into account longer term volume profile levels as well, which I'm going to show you how I normally do this. And again, I specialize in day trading futures, which I do on Sierra chart, which has a lot more capabilities than TradingView, but I know a lot of you use TradingView. I use it a lot just for general market analysis, top down. And so I'm going to show you what settings you can use on whatever market you use. So first, we're going to talk about Forex, crypto, and then we're going to go into futures, because in futures, there's a little hack that I do in order to be able to split my profile between the extended hours and regular trading hours sessions, which is something that I always like to do in my day trading. So here we have a Euro US dollar 5-minute chart. And as you can see right here, this is the session break lines. So for this, you just go here to the gear icon, or you can right click and go to settings under events. And you can see right here, session breaks. I always like to have this enabled because that is going to basically draw a line at the beginning of each trading day on whatever market it is that you're using. And well, this is going to be directly related to the it's not showing here because I got the thing in the bottom, but if I pull this up right there to the time that you have your time zone that is set there, I'm on the US Eastern time, so all the times that I'm going to be showing you here are based on the US Eastern time is what I use. So with the session breaks enabled, you can change the color, the thickness, the type of line, etc. I just like to use a light gray dash. So you can see on Forex we have 5 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. It's a 24-hour market, 5 days a week. So in this case, this is the whole action that we had for today, which was, well, starting last, depending where you are, but this is for Tuesday 23rd's action right here. So if we go into indicators, technicals, profiles, now, there's two types of session profiles that you can use on TradingView. There is regular and HD. I personally prefer to use the regular because this is going to allow me to set my own level of resolution on the profile. The HD sort of automatically depending how zoomed in or out you are on the chart and how you move it, it adjusts the row size of the profile, but I like to be able to set that myself, so I just use the regular session profile. So if you go ahead and click it, you can see that I got here the profile set right here. Now, this is going to look different than what yours looks like because this is just set to the default that I use for futures. So let's go into the settings and show you how I would use it for Forex and for crypto. So you can either go up here into the gear icon to access the settings, or you can just double click it. This brings up the window, and you can see this is called the SBP Session Volume Profile. and you have three menus here. Visibility is just what time frames you want this to show in. So since I'm going to be using this for day trading, I only want to see this on lower time frames. So I'm going to take off everything, and I'm just going to leave it. Well, I never really use second time frames, but let's just leave it on minutes and seconds, okay? So that way, if I zoom out, because I want to look at this from the higher time frame, is going to hide this profiles, because otherwise, if you have this on like a daily chart or an hourly chart, it's going to look a little bit too cluttered with all these profiles. So I just set it for seconds and minutes. And then the style, you need to have volume profile enabled so it shows it. As far as the coloring, I always like to use gray colors. I like to use on the value area a darker gray, and then outside of value just a lighter gray, but you can change this to whatever shading you want. Then I always have enabled value area high, low, and the point of control. So remember, the value area in this case is going to be the 68% of the traded volume of the profile here. And we're going to go into inputs and set that up. Now the width box percentage, this varies depending how long you want it to be sticking out. You can see if I turn this down, it's going to be a lot smaller. You can go way up and it's going to be sticking out a lot. Usually I found like 50%, it's like a good balance. And you know, obviously the profile is developing as the day goes. So when it starts over here, it's going to be very little. And as price starts building volume in all these areas, then the profile is going to be pushing up and up more and more. And so it's just going to get wider as the day goes by. Placement, I always have it on the left side of the screen. Developing point of control and value area, I don't enable this, but what this is showing you is basically how the value area here, how it's been shifting up and down as the day progresses, but I've never really found any value in using that, so I always have it off. The histogram box, this is if you want to apply a background to it. So you can make this any color, and you can see, you can change the opacity to make it, but I always just have this off. I don't really like to use it. And then these labels and values doesn't really make a difference. I never noticed that it really does anything there. And then if we go to inputs, this is the very key area right here. Under sessions, this is set at custom 6 o'clock because this is how I set it as a default for futures. But if you're going to be trading Forex and crypto, you just go and put all right there. And see, as soon as you put all, that means that TradingView by itself is just going to set the profile where each market session starts. So you can see how this went right back into the line here. So at 5 p.m. every day is going to start a new session profile, and then a new one starts at 5 p.m. Eastern of the next day. Now, volume, I always have it set at total, meaning that the profile is going to be taking into account the total volume. Now, I know one thing that a lot of people are going to say, and they say, oh, Forex is decentralized. There's not a real measure of volume. So how can volume profile work on it? Well, there's a system, and you can go into the Sierra chart theory. The TradingView theory, where they explain that they calculated based off of the candle movement. And that's how they figure out the volume profile based on tick movement in the chart, okay? And trust me, it is accurate, and it is very useful in any market. Then value area, volume, I always have it at 68. Most platforms by default have this set at 70, but I like to use 68 to be more precise, because what this is measuring is one standard deviation of a bell curve distribution. And so each side of the bell curve is about 34%. I think it's like 34.1 or 2. So if you add this up, that's 68%. And so that's why we use this to be more precise. And then here on the row layouts, when I'm using Forex and crypto, you can either just leave it at ticks, but usually I just go number of rows. And you can see, if you use number of rows, the higher the number, the more precise. If you're using ticks, the lower the number, the more precise. What does that mean? Well, if I put 100 rows, you can see the profile looks a little bit chunky. If I raise this to 500, you can see that now it looks a lot more precise. And then same thing, if I go into ticks, if I put 500 ticks, look how it looks really thick. Let's say I go 100, look how it looks really thick. And then if I just go, let's say 1 tick, it looks very precise. Okay, so either one, you can use number of rows or tick per rows. It doesn't really make a difference. The main thing is you want to have a good definition. But as a rule of thumb, if I'm using a Forex or a crypto chart, I usually like to put about 1,000 rows, and that will get you a pretty precise volume profile. And then the extent point of control and value areas, this has its uses in the sense that, for example, if you have this session, for example, let's go. Okay, I'm just going to put 500. If you have this session, and you can notice that here you have your value area lines, and this is my point of control. And this is all set right here under style. This is how you can select all your colors and the type of lines you use, etc. If I choose to extend them, then that means that these lines are going to be extended into the future until price intersects them again. So if I go into inputs and I mark off all these ones and I press OK, you can see how now this value area high, for example, is still going because it hasn't been touched, but the point of control and the value area low have stopped here because this is where the market came back and touched them again. So it's useful to extend them if you're going to then use it on the next day session, just to use it as a guide, because these levels do tend to be pretty significant to track on future sessions. Like, for example, you can see right here, this is from last week, this is Wednesday, and then this is Thursday. And you can see, for example, the value area high that we had on this daily session into the next day pretty much capped off and marked off this big move up, and then we had a big retracement from it. Similarly, the value area low right here, we had the low on Wednesday, and you can see Thursday we came right back to that same value area low area and level, and then we held that as the low of Thursday again, and then we bounced. You know, it doesn't mean that these levels are going to reject, but is areas of importance to keep track of. And I go into in detail strategies on this on my day trading course as well, with order flow etc. Okay, so that's pretty much the session volume profile applied to Forex. If we go quickly into a crypto market, you can see that now, same thing. This is a 24/7 market, so we're going to have a new profile made every day, 7 days a week. In this case, 8 p.m. Eastern time is when each new trading day starts in crypto. Oh, another thing here that I like to do, I like to go on top, right click, and under visual order, put send to back. That way the profile is not going to be covering your candles. And you know, if you feel that it looks too dark, you can just go here and reduce the number of rows. And it's just going to reduce the resolution of it, and it's going to make it a little bit easier to see. Or, you know, obviously you can just go into your style settings and just tune down the tone of the colors to make them lighter. Okay, and then this is same thing. The crypto session will be 24 hours. You got your point of control, value area, high, low. You can see same thing here. Value area high from this day came and price wick right into it, and we had a nice retracement off of it. Okay, so we can double click again. If you want to keep your chart a little bit cleaner and you just want to track this value area, values, and point of control yourself, you can just turn this off. And that way, you know, you're not going to have a bunch of lines just sticking out everywhere on your chart for all the untouched levels that you have. Like you can see right here, this is Tuesday's session on Bitcoin, and the value area low. So far, we've been holding that area, that value very nicely. You can see we had a big edge as well on a high volume node here. So this is a very significant level, and you can see how we're holding. So that's why I like to always reference the past session profiles in order to make day trading decisions. Okay, so that is the Forex and crypto. Let's go now into futures. Now with futures, some people will like to use a profile for the entire session. So if that's the case, then under your session settings, you can literally just leave all selected. But when it comes to futures, I like to, under row layouts, I like to go to ticks per row, and I like to set it to 1. So that means every tick on the price scale is going to have 1 row here on the volume profile, and that's going to give me the most precise resolution on it. Okay, so for futures, I always like to use ticks per row, size 1 when I am day trading on lower time frames. And again, I'm on a 5-minute chart, but you can use a 1 minute, a 15-minute, etc. So if you want to use the entire trading day, then you're just going to leave your session all, and that means you're going to have a profile going from 6 p.m. Eastern up to 5 p.m. Eastern. Like right here, it looks like this is just going straight from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. But if I take my cursor and pay attention to the bottom where it says the date and time, you can see that it jumps from 4:55 candle to 6. Because in futures, there is a pause of between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. where the market is closed. And that's, if you're holding a trade from that close to the next open, that's what's called holding an overnight trade, even though it's just 1 hour. But Basically, futures is a 23-hour-a-day market, 5 days a week. It opens up on Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, and the week ends on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So, for futures, I like to split the session profile into extended hours and regular trading hours. What do I mean by that? Well, extended hours, or ETH, goes from 6 p.m. Eastern time to 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is the official open of the stock market. And then that's what we would call regular trading hours, which goes from 9:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern time. Technically, the cash session or the stock market goes up until 4, but then at 4 o'clock, cash session stops, and we have an hour between 4 and 5 where volumes drop dramatically, but market is still open and moving. And then officially at 5 is when the futures settlement prices are set for the next trading day. Okay, so the way I like to do this in order to split this profile into two is, let me delete this. And what I like to do is I go to indicators, technicals, profiles, and I will click session profile. I'm going to click it twice so you can see that I actually have two profiles here that are the same. So what happens when I do that is, if I enable them already, I just had it hidden. But if I go into the settings of the first one, this is for the regular trading session, which is going to be this one right here. And so what I do is, well, visibility, same as always. I'm going to take it all off here and just leave it at minutes, seconds. Style, same thing. I'm going to use the gray colors that I like right there. Value area, I like to use a little darker tone. And then value area, high, low, point of control, I like to use orange with a thick, solid line for the point of control and a dashed orange line for the value area, high and low. And that's pretty much what I use on this style for the regular trading hours. And now on inputs, this is where it's important. TradingView supposedly has an option here where you can put each session. And if you mark this, it's supposed to split up into the different sessions. But as you can see, if I put each, it just brings it up to 6 p.m. and basically just gives me a 23-hour-a-day profile, which is not what I want when I am going to day trade in my case. So I select custom, and if you select custom, it lets you literally just set what times you want this profile to go from. So I go into my time zone. I just select New York time because that's the US Eastern time. And then under hours, I put 9:30 to 5 p.m. You can see ticks per row, 1, value area 68, total volume. In this case, I have not enabled the extend value areas and point of control, but if you want, you can definitely do that. And I click OK, and that is going to give me my regular trading hour profile. And then what I do is I literally apply the exact same thing to the second session profile. Same settings. I'm going to just leave minutes, seconds, style. In here, I like to change the color of the up volume, down volume, so I can distinguish immediately which one is which. So in this case, I personally like to use a light blue tone, and I leave the value area in dark gray. Same colors for all my point of control and value lines. And then under inputs, this is where the difference comes in. I put another custom session, and this time I select from 6 p.m. until 9:30 a.m. So basically, since the market opens extended hours up until the open of the stock market. And in this case, I get this profile right here, which is going to be my extended hours. And this one is going to be my regular trading hours. Okay? And that's basically how I do my settings for if I was going to be day trading on TradingView using my session profiles. And the last indicator that I always use is the VWAP. VWAP is volume weighted average price. I have videos on it on my channel that you can check out. I talk a lot about this in my trading courses as well. But here, the first one made by TradingView, if you click on it, it's going to bring it up, and it's this one right here. This one, well, they have it enabled with 1 deviation. You can click it to go to the settings. I usually just take off the deviations, and I just leave the main VWAP line. If you go into style, I normally like to have this in purple and in a thick line. And this VWAP, you can use it on everything, on Forex, on crypto, etc. But it is more precise in futures since it's a centralized market, and it's just getting precise trade execution data from the CME. Now, what is the only issue with this VWAP? Well, as you can see, it starts off here on the open of the day at 6 p.m. But then right here, when we change sessions, TradingView does not have an option to split it by session, because right here, the VWAP should go right over here and just start off from where price opens on the market hours. This in Sierra chart is very easy to do this, but TradingView does not have that option. So what I like to do is, instead of using their VWAP indicator, let me just delete it. I like to go under their tools, and you can see there is a study right here, or a tool called Anchored VWAP. That means that wherever you click, it's just going to start a VWAP from that area and just push it forward, measuring time, price, and volume as basically like a moving average, but it's also taking into account volume. So what I like to do is, if I'm trading extended hours, then I'll just hinge it right here on the 6 p.m. candle and let it just go there. And then when market opens at 9:30, I just grab it, drag it to the 9:30 candle, drop it there, and then I have my new VWAP to use here. And like if I go into a 1-minute chart and I zoom in, you can see right here, I have my volume profile. And again, you can change the colors if you want to make it a little lighter so it doesn't like look so dark behind your chart. And then you can see right here, we have a VWAP starting off right from the session start right there. Okay. There are some indicators that people custom make here on TradingView for like Delta, etc. These are things that I always use on my day trading in Sierra chart. But since there's no actual tick data on TradingView, then I don't really rely that much on those indicators since I don't use this platform. But you know, you can definitely check them out if you put CVD cumulative volume delta. You can see there's a indicator made by TradingView right here, the candles one, which you can see right here, where basically it is, again, it is using the candle movement data in order to calculate this values. It is not using actual tick data like other platforms use, but is basically measuring the aggressiveness of buyers and sellers. And you can check, I have videos talking about Delta also on my channel here. So again, I don't personally have experience using this custom order flow indicators on TradingView, so I cannot vouch for how accurate they are. But as far as the session volume profiles and the VWAP, those ones are definitely really good to use. They're the same as what you would get in any other platform. You just gotta tinker them a little bit more, but that is exactly the settings that I would use on my intraday volume profile settings on TradingView. Okay, hope you've all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.